people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Unified Women's Super Featherweight Champion Mikaela Mayer stated on Baumgardner she's getting the biggest payday of her life after doing nothing for the sport. We're constantly having to hustle, Mayer said of female boxers on the DAZN boxing show. My life didn't change when I won my first world title. Any male that won a world title, their life immediately changed overnight. That hasn't happened to me. Fortunately for Baumgardner, us women have built the game up so much that she was able to come out of nowhere, be the champion, and come into the biggest payday of her life. She's in this position because of people who have done the groundwork. Me, Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor. She hasn't done any of that. This girl is getting the biggest payday of her life after doing nothing for the sport.
Hey, she's done about as much for the sport as you have.
What do you think, you Jane Couch or something? You beat a champion to be a champion on 2 occasions, and so did Alicia Baumgardner. She beat Terry Harper for the WBC title. In that way,
she's done about as much for the sport as you have.
Mikaela Mayer is promoted by Top Rank, which will be promoting the bout. Baumgardner, on the other hand, is backed by rival outfit Matchroom Boxing. Mayer said Top Rank paid Baumgardner handsomely in order to obtain the rights to the fight and have it broadcasted on ESPN. The broadcaster with which Top Rank has an exclusive partnership. Money talks, Mayer said. Big props to Top Rank. They stepped up. They put 4 or 5 years into me now. I've passed every test, and they've put in front of me. They owed me this fight, and it came together, and they made it happen.
That's not exactly accurate, you know.
While it is true that Top Rank has an exclusive UK broadcast rights partnership with Sky Sports, it's actually Boxer that's promoting the fight. This is actually a Boxer show. This is the co-main event to Boxer's main event, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, and from the looks of it, it looks like Boxer are the ones footing the bill, not Top Rank.
Mayer said that Matchroom tried to get it on DAZN, and Top Rank said, hell no.
You have to wonder if the roles were reversed. Would Mikaela Mayer have made the decision? Because it was a decision. Alicia Baumgardner had a choice. And you have to wonder, would Mikaela Mayer have made the decision to cross over to Matchroom if the roles were reversed?
I don't think so.
They, Top Rank, offered her, Baumgardner, the money that she couldn't refuse, Mayer said on the DAZN boxing show. Did Eddie Hearn and Matchroom try to get it on DAZN? Sure they did. But Top Rank said hell no. They said, we put 5 years into Mikaela. You just had Alicia 2 fights ago. There's absolutely no way we're giving you this fight. And you know...
What are they going to argue?
So they offered her the money, and they made it happen. Money talks, Mayer added. Big props to Top Rank. They stepped up. They put in 4 or 5 years into me now, and I've passed every test that they have put in front of me. They owed me this fight, and it came together, and they made it happen. And once again, that's not exactly accurate. That's not exactly true. Mikaela Mayer herself admitted that she went after Hyun-Mi Choi. They made an offer to her, and Hyun-Mi Choi didn't want it. Alicia Baumgardner could have taken the same stance that Hyun-Mi Choi took. How hard do you think it would have been for Matchroom to find someone for Alicia Baumgardner to keep busy with in the in-between time? The truth is, the reality of it, we're here because Alicia is willing to cross over. We're here because Alicia was willing to accept the fight, even though she didn't have to.
Mikaela Mayer thinks the money's the reason that Alicia jumped on board.
How much was money a factor in that? Because she's basically saying the only reason you're taking the fight is because of the money.
I don't give a flying about money. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a G. And the fact that she's trying to paint this narrative that I accepted a fight because of money, money doesn't motivate me. Money is a bonus to me, baby. Like, money is an extra. You know what I'm saying? My endorsements, my modeling, my Adidas, all that, I get paid. So to fight you was why I took the fight. To beat your ass, to beat you on your platform, to knock you the fuck out, because all you doing is talking, and she's gonna get a piece of humble pie. Because, baby, you ain't been in the ring with somebody like me before.
I'll tell you this much.
What?
Takes 2 to tango. Takes 2 fighters, 2 teams to make a fight, but it only takes 1 to fuck it up. And if Alicia Baumgardner went on board for this fight, it wouldn't have happened. It's that simple. Alicia Baumgardner had the option of holding that green belt hostage, but she likes her chances enough that she's willing to cross over to Michaela's side of things, unlike Hyun-Mi Choi. The illusion, the narrative that Michaela Mayer is imparting is that Alicia was made an offer she couldn't refuse, but Hyun-Mi Choi refused it, didn't she?
What do you think? Alicia Baumgartner's scratching and sniffing? She's strapped for cash?
What do you think? You think Matchroom couldn't have found her a couple of guiles to keep her busy in the mean in-between time while they wait you out, age you out? Because Michaela Mayer is the older fighter, after all.
She said this would be her last year in the super featherweight division. Sounds to me like somebody struggling to make the weight.
Both fighters are really good fighters, elite-level fighters. Don't misunderstand me. Don't get me wrong. It's an excellent fight, but Michaela Mayer is perhaps taking too much credit for this fight's inception. We don't get here without a willing dance partner. We don't get to this point unless Alicia Baumgardner.
What the hell was she gonna do if Alicia said no? Who was she gonna fight?
Did Michaela Mayer forget that most of the alphabet titles, if not all of them, between 130 and 147 pounds are over there on the Matchroom side of things?
What the hell was she gonna do if Alicia said no? Who was she gonna fight?
You ain't got the leverage to bring Katie Taylor over to Top Rank in ESPN at 135, and at 140, they've got Chantel Cameron. Kaylee Reese is out of commission at 147. They've got Jessica McCaskill. What exactly was Michaela Mayer gonna do if Alicia said no?
What the hell was she gonna do?
I'm just giving it to you straight because it's the only way I know how to give it to you. And as stated, it takes two teams, two fighters to make a fight, but it only takes one to fuck it all up. And because Alicia Baumgardner likes her chances against Michaela Mayer as part of a top-ranked show, a boxer show, or otherwise, it's only...
That's why the fucking fight has happened.
It's not because Michaela made Alicia an offer she couldn't refuse. It's not because Alicia Baumgardner's scratching and sniffing and strapped for cash and she needed the money.
Because she believes that she can beat you. And on September 10th, we'll find out if she can.
Chris Eubanks, y'all offer a lot of money to fight me, bro. Over $1 million. For me, it's like over $1 million, bro. We're talking like, I'm not like, it's not for the fans' sake, bro. It's for your pockets, for your dad. It's for like your mom, your dad. I don't know if you got kids. I got kids. I got 4 kids, bro. You feel me? I do what I do. There's a whole lot of money on the table for me and you to fight for the WBO super. And then when I say super, I mean like super. Not super middleweight champion, but yo, bro, we are stars, bro. You're a star, I'm a star. I'm a superstar, you're a star. Got 2 losses. We're gonna make a lot of money. So let's put this fight together, bro. You talk about fighting somebody that it's not even relevant to the situation. We need all the fans, all the UK fans, all the American fans, all the Cape Verdean fans that's already gonna pull up. Trust me, I got Luxembourg, I got Amsterdam, I got UK, I got Africa. They're gonna pull up to the O2 Arena. I want them to go all the way to London. O2 Arena, in the backyard, my belt. Because Sky Sports know real fighting and real boxing. Thank you, Sky Sports, for putting the opportunity out there. Chris Eubanks, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop acting like that, bro. Stop acting like that. Let's make this money. Let's feed our kids. Let's give boxing fans what they're looking for. It's Demetrius Andrade versus Chris Eubanks. October, November, by the end of the year.
This video was uploaded by Demetrius Andrade himself late yesterday. Demetrius Andrade, this division's reigning WBO champion at middleweight. And he seems to be calling out Chris Eubank Jr., detailing what was supposed to be a deal for Demetrius and Chris to square off against each other that would have been financed by Sky. But he's a day late, the dollar short, as he's currently under orders to take on his mandatory challenger, Eubank Alimkhanuly. We all know this.
We also know that Chris is currently in talks to take on Conor Benn.
Though even if he wasn't, Demetrius Andrade is under orders, you understand. He's not at liberty to take on Chris Eubank Jr. without forfeiting the brown belt, forfeiting the WBO title to Eubank Alimkhanuly. So any way you slice it, He's a day late and a dollar short, and it seems like the prospect of having to face a high-risk, low-reward guy like Yanni Beckalim-Kanuli has driven Demetrius Andrade to drink.
Jesus Christ, it's driven him to the bottle?
Demetrius Andrade, in this video that he uploaded to his own social media, appears quite inebriated, quite intoxicated, and it's ill-advised for fighters and athletes to imbibe in alcoholic beverages.
I'm not telling you fighters don't drink, I'm just telling you it's ill-advised.
That's all I'm saying. As Yanni Beckalim-Kanuli takes to his own social media stating, "I told you I'm a middleweight nightmare. I will knock him out."
That's assuming Demetrius Andrade even decides to hang on to that brown belt.
Hang on to it long enough that he sees himself defending it against Yanni Beckalim-Kanuli.
Is that how you say that?
Demetrius Andrade is caught between a rock and a hard place. He's got a high-risk, low-reward guy who wants what he's got, and he's facing a scarcity of options. He was never a highly sought-after fighter by his contemporaries. Jermall Charlo didn't want nothing to do with him. Neither did Gennady Golovkin.
Word round the campfire is David Benavidez, who he was eyeing, is supposed to be facing David Morrell in the fall.
Word round the campfire is that former IBF super middleweight champion Caleb Plant may end up taking on Anthony Durrell.
You can fucking forget about the Zach Parker fight. That ship has sailed.
It's not going to happen. At this point in the juncture, Demetrius Andrade is a fighter, is a champion who is greatly lacking the luxury of choice.
He doesn't have one. He dumps that belt. He skips out on this fight. What are his options?
You got a whole division of guys, most of which weren't in any hurry to fight Demetrius Andrade in the past. What would it do to his career in the present if he dropped that title, if he dropped that belt? I personally think he needs to do whatever he's got to do to get through this guy and get through this fight, because maybe then he can go back to the table.
The negotiation table with Sky Sports, perhaps not for a Chris Eubank Jr. fight, but for something else.
Hey, listen, the people over there at Sky and Boxer are in the market for talent, American or otherwise. They went as far as signing Clarissa Shields, didn't they? And she's an American-based fighter. They went as far as signing Michael Hunter, and he doesn't even have a title.
Demetrius does. He gets through this fight. Maybe he can work something out with them.
Remember, if he goes through with this, it's going to be a Top Rank show, and Top Rank's UK broadcast partner just so happens to be Sky Sports. So the network relationship is there to where if Demetrius puts on a signature performance, wins emphatically against a very dangerous guy, a very dangerous opponent on what is the biggest sports network in this country, ESPN.
You know, they can't all be Luke Keelers and Jason Quigley's.
I don't actually fault Demetrius Andrade for the entirety of his situation. He was avoided by Jermall Charlo, that much is true, and Gennady Golovkin, for the most part, didn't want nothing to do with him. He felt he had bigger fish to fry. This isn't a self-inflicted wound, not completely, but this is the situation he's in, and he's the one that's got to work to get out of it. The rest of his career it's on the other side of this fight, and he has to get through it. I think the worst possible decision Demetrius could make at this point is dropping that title without a contest, dropping that title without a fight, because not only will he become a social pariah with the boxing fans for ducking Yanni Beckalim-Kanuli,
But he was already struggling to get opponents. How much more of a struggle is it going to become with no world title?
there is an air of desperation in this video that Demetrius Andrade chose to upload to his own social media. There's an air of desperation when he's calling out a guy he should know is busy right now, and when he's under orders to fight someone else. There really is an air of desperation to all of this.
I hate to say this, but it reeks of desperate when he calls himself a star. Demetrius Andrade is anything but.
He was a decorated amateur. In pro boxing, he's a 2-division unbeaten champion, but he's not a star. That's why he finds himself in this situation, because in spite of all his amateur and professional exploits, his career never really took off.
Chris Eubank Jr. can't save him. He's busy.
And finally, in men's lightweight and super lightweight news, Ryan Garcia says, "When I beat Tank Davis, I will feel like a champion, regardless if he has a real belt or not."
There is a method to Ryan Garcia's madness.
There's a reason he doesn't want an alphabet title, doesn't want to pursue one. There's a reason that he's doing this. You guys could complain about belts all you want, Garcia told his own broadcast team of Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, and Sean Portier. And that's not a shot at any organization. It's just, to me, the belts are diluted. It's like putting water in alcohol. It's not going to hit right.
Among the virtues of not pursuing an alphabet title, Ryan Garcia is free to pick and choose who he fights.
That's what this is all about. He can't maintain this biosphere, this bubble. It's all about him and Gervonta, just him and Gervonta, if he's in pursuit of alphabet titles at either 135 or 140 pounds, because if you start fighting in eliminators and pursuing alphabet titles, you might run into a problem, a big one, especially at 140 pounds where Ryan is now campaigning.
He's probably going to fight more lightweights at super lightweight.
Me winning championships is just going to give people more ammo to be like, oh, Ryan's this, Garcia said. I don't care about that. I need to know in my heart that I beat the guy that I feel is champion. If I beat Davis, or when I beat Tank Davis, I will feel like a champion, regardless if he has a real belt or not. I will feel like a champion because the name carries weight. His name carries weight. To me, he's a great fighter. I would actually be a fan of him if I wasn't, a fighter, because I like how he fights and I have respect for him and I think he's a great fighter, but I think I'm a better fighter and I think that Ryan is full of shit.
Gervonta Davis has never held a full title, a full-fledged world title at lightweight or super lightweight.
So how the hell could beating him at any one of those weights make you feel like a champion when by all rights, he's never been a champion? Not at those weights, he hasn't. He's only ever held secondary titles at those weights. He certainly hasn't cleaned those divisions out.
Listen, the reason this kid don't want to fight for no belts is because he don't want to fight Devin Haney at 135.
Too much risk for not enough reward. He views the Gervonta Davis fight as a bigger commercial fight, thus he doesn't want to run any risks with Devin Haney.
If you fight Devin now for all his belts, maybe you don't make it to the Gervonta Davis fight, at least not with your O intact.
He was alright fighting for belts after George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, and he called him out himself on his own social media. But as soon as Devin took those belts away from George, belts went back to not meaning anything, because Ryan Garcia has never wanted the Devin Haney fight. Now, he's moved up to super lightweight.
He's not going to fight for belts up there either. You think he wants a Josh Taylor fight?
By not pursuing a belt at 140 pounds, he doesn't have to pay any pesky sanctioning fees. There's that to consider. But more importantly, he won't bump into a Regis Prograis, a Subriel Matias, a Gary Antoine Russell. These are the fighters that he might have to go through in order to climb up those alphabet rank standings, and he doesn't want to do that. If he doesn't want to risk it with Devin, do you think he wants to risk it with them?
140 pounds ain't a division for the faint of heart. It's full of killers, full of punchers.
Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, Regis Prograis, Jose Zapata, Jose Ramirez.
Do you think that Ryan wants to bump into any one of these guys on his way to a title? Of course not.
If a fight were to get ordered between Ryan and one of these guys, and Ryan don't comply, you know what's going to happen. It's going to hurt his stock. He's going to be accused of ducking, so in order to circumvent that, he's skipping out on fighting for titles altogether. He wants the liberty to choose.
Choose with impunity. All handpicks.
Until enough time has passed that he's garnered enough experience and he shares the squared circle with Gervonta Davis. He's trying to stay inside of his bubble.